What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our Friday market open live stream here, as we are seeing, of course, the markets continue to move a little bit higher. So NASDAQ 100 essentially flat. It is selling off a little bit pre-market here. SPY is also essentially flat here, up over 8 basis points at the moment. So if my audio and video is good, just give me a thumbs up. Just want to make sure that everything is fine. Technically, there are no issues, and we are ready to get started here on this fine Friday morning. Tesla here up over 19 basis points. Nvidia is up almost 0.5%, trading back up to $193 right now. So we're seeing a little bit of momentum back up to almost at all-time highs at 195 for Nvidia. And this right here, of course, is the hot momentum watch list, as Bitfarms up almost 6%. We're seeing momentum for iron also up over 6.4, trading up to over $63. Actually a little bit higher, 66 I think is where it's trading at the moment. Iron pre-market is almost at $68 now. So absolutely incredible momentum coming in. And then, of course, we got Rocket Labs up 1.7. So if I essentially come over here and sort this list, we got Rocket Labs up over 5.5. We got ASTS, so up almost 4%. And then we also got to add APLD, which is up 28% right now, which is Applied Digital on the back of earnings coming out earlier today as well. We got TMQ up over 3%. We got Nebius up over 2%. CoreWeave is up over 2%. We got DLocal up almost 2%. And then, of course, some of the other stocks here also pushing higher. BMNR is flat, and we've got BITX up almost 1% pre-market as well. Crypto is trading at just over 121,000, so just a little bit over 121.6 right now. And we got Ethereum trading at just under $4,400 as well. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation sideways, of course, with a very strong area of resistance in and around these levels at 4,800 as well. This is the options portfolio and where it sits right now. Once again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Are we primed for a green Friday is the question. Well, we're going to find out very soon. I mean, the S&P 500 on this week is up over 29 basis points. So we're seeing a little bit of that momentum, and the NASDAQ is also up over 1% this week as well. So we're seeing a little bit of that momentum this week as well for the market, as we're recovering very, very nicely. So the options portfolio, of course, we've got BITX, Ethereum, HIMS, NVIDIA, Oscar, SoFi, Tesla. All positions are green. Some of them are in the money. Some of them are out of the money. I do have the NVIDIA $205 call for next week that I sold earlier this week. That is up over, I think, 40% right now. But we'll see where NVIDIA ends up closing next week. How many people actually believe that NVIDIA is going to be over $200 very, very soon? What do you guys think? So we're just going to do a very quick poll here. NVIDIA, let's just do next week. Over 200, less than 200. Let's just do a very quick poll because NVIDIA is really gunning for that price. I think it's really, really close to $200. And I think we're most likely, in my opinion, going to see it before the end of this year, $200. But then, of course, we've got to see whether that happens next week or in the following weeks. But I think before the end of this year, I think everybody wants to really see a $200 handle on NVIDIA. Yes, Mike, thank you so much for joining. Mark, everybody, welcome. Suresh, Beauty of New Zealand. Hi, Karthik. Please share your opinion on SoFi for the next 6 months, price assumptions, and on BMNR as well, or any other stock you believe to invest for short-term 6 months. So, again, short-term predictions we don't like to make here on the channel. I can give you my analysis on SoFi as a whole, and of course BMNR as well. But, you know, my guess is going to be just as good as yours. Nobody really knows what the world is going to look like in 6 months, especially when you consider so many technological advancements and with the rise of AI. Nobody has any clue what the world is going to look like 6 months from now, 1 year from now, let alone 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now. And so SoFi resistance is going to stay put at $30. It has recovered really nicely from its lows of $24, $25, pushed up another 15, 16%. I think we do have a very strong support right about here. For SoFi, that's going to be staying put at $24, $25. And of course, a resistance all the way up to as much as $30 for SoFi. So if you do get a breakout above this, then we are pretty much back at all-time highs for the company. And sky really is the limit. So I would not be surprised to see $40 next year if the company continues to execute. That's really not that far off from where we are right now. That's only going to be a 30 to 40% gain, especially when you consider the market cap is only about 30 to 40 billion, right? So we're not talking in trillions. We're talking just about 30 to 40 billion. So 30 to 40% gain is not something that's off the table, considering a company like SoFi, which is growing at a very rapid clip. So resistance is going to be $30, very strong support at $24. I will continue to dollar cost average and add more shares if it trades in the mid to low 20s, and then possibly even sub 20 if it ever actually gets down there. I wouldn't mind adding more to that position. Now, when it comes to BMNR, it's going to be more of a question around Ethereum because that's really what it trades on. And we've got a very clear resistance at $63, $64. It feels like it's gotten rejected there multiple times already. And so that right there is going to be a bit of a double top, triple top for BMNR with a very strong support of $57 down to $52 to as much as $47, right? So $47 got validated perfectly before we rallied right back up here, 38%. And those right there are going to be support levels to watch for BMNR. So Jay Powell ditch us, time to buy, John says. Well, not really, not necessarily at all because volatility is pretty muted. It is down, it is low. You got the MoneyVest index still pretty optimistic right now. And so market breadth has been muted. Really, this is one of those markets where we're seeing a lot of momentum in other parts, other pockets of the market. But the markets as a whole are really just kind of drifting sideways. If you come take a look at the S&P 500, the volume's been kind of tapering off over the last 4 to 5 trading sessions. If you really just look at all the way down here, you'll see the volume's been coming off a little bit. Yes, it's moving slowly and steadily higher, but every day is kind of a grind for the market, right? So we're not really seeing a lot of activity, a lot of volatility here in the market, but really just a lot of momentum in these stocks right here. So it may feel like this is a hot market, but it really is a market that's just slowly and steadily grinding higher if you're talking about the S&P and the NASDAQ. And so, when the volatility spikes, when the MoneyVest index comes down, when there are actual opportunities, when the risk reward is favorable, it's going to be very clear when it is. And that's when we're going to be deploying capital into the market. That's when we're going to be going aggressive in that market as well. So it really is a game of patience. It's a game of consistency, game of discipline, game of managing risk. That's really what it comes down to, right? Investing and trading is not supposed to be that hard. It's actually supposed to be very easy as long as you're able to really dial down on some of these intangible skills, which is patience and discipline and, of course, consistency. So that's really what it comes down to, I believe, at the end of the day. So are we primed for a Green Friday? Again, we'll find out in about 6.5, almost 7 hours. Really like the live streams and already like the video as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Up and then after CPI numbers down. So consumer price index also is not going to be released. Just so everybody knows, it is not going to come out because we are still in a government shutdown. So if you come over to the White House, let's see, White House page. Oh, America's back. All right. So CPI numbers are going to, I think we're still in a shutdown. That homepage kind of tweaked me out a little bit. I thought it was, already reopened, but I don't think I've seen any news. But yes, it still has the countdown going on for over 9 days now that we've seen the government shutdown take place. And if you go over to the BLS website, it's going to show you the same thing. I mean, this right here is the announcement, suspension of the federal government services. This website has not updated since October 1st. So it's been 9 days that we haven't seen the BLS website update at all. If you come over to more info, it'll say exactly that. This website is currently not being updated due to the suspension of the federal government services. And the last update to this site was Wednesday, October 1st. So it's been 9 days, and we're most likely not going to get the report on CPI next week if the government shutdown continues. And again, we did not get the release on the unemployment numbers, right? They were supposed to come out October 3rd. We obviously did not get that. And this right here is a CPI. It's supposed to come out on October 15th. And we're probably not going to get that either. Yeah, that page really did tweak me out a little bit. As soon as I saw America's back, I was like, okay, have you reopened yet? But no, we have not. So yeah, that's the situation right now. Is we're not getting any economic reports from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And yeah, Rakesh, patience is so hard. I have money ready to go, but I have to wait. Well, it is hard, right? That's why if you think about Warren Buffett, why does everybody call him during times of distress? Why is it that the phone always rings to the person that is ready and prepared and always has the cash sitting on the sidelines? Because you always want to be prepared, right? And that's when you get the best deals. That's when you get the terms that you really want that are favorable. And so that's really where patience comes down to, right? And Warren Buffett even said, like, the stock market is a device of transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. And you definitely want to be the patient one and not the impatient one in any and every market circumstance. What are your thoughts on SPY, SPX today? So, like I said, hard to kind of make any of these predictions, but of course, we're trading sideways a little bit. We're still positive on the week, 29 basis points higher, still positive on the month, of course, positive on the year. So this has been an incredible performance from the market, and they're 14% gains on a year-to-date basis after already 2 years in a row of double-digit gains from the S&P 500 as well. So, of course, very, very strong momentum for the markets overall, on the back of some very aggressive concentration as well. All right, let's take a look here. AMD crystal ball 260 before the year ends. So, Mark, I have for Advanced Micro Devices, this is the chart that we're working with on a weekly, monthly basis. So if you come over to the monthly chart, it's going to be a lot more clear. And this is really the uptrend within which it's been trading. And so if you put that line all the way up here to a higher high, I mean, technicals do suggest 280 to as much as like possibly even 300 before the year end. But again, a lot of that depends on the broader markets here and just the overall sentiment around artificial intelligence and how we close out the year. I mean, right now we're kind of at this peak sentiment. Can it get any better? Obviously is the real question, but yeah, that is where the uptrend is going to take us for Advanced Micro Devices. Is ASML still a buy zone or wait for a pullback for long-term entry? So ASML has definitely been a very strong recovery for this stock here. So of course, this past few months here, it's rallied from 570s back up to over $1,000. So a nice 75-80% gain. Now it's coming up to that resistance again. So this right here is going to be that area of resistance to watch for ASML, and of course a very strong support, and roughly at $560, $570 for ASML. So, is it a buy here at these levels? Probably not. Given that it's already rallied, and on a weekly time frame, you can clearly see how overbought it is, and it's now starting to get rejected at this area of resistance. So you definitely want to be a lot more careful with the support level that's going to stay put at 845 down to as low as 667, 670 for ASML as well. So those are going to be some levels to watch. Did you cover Costco? If not, can you? Yes, let's take a look at Costco here. And Costco consolidating sideways, I would say, at a support. So it also makes for a decent swing trading opportunity as it was trading down to 900s. If it does end up seeing that momentum and continuation back higher, we're looking at a resistance back up to almost $1,000. That's going to be all the way up here. And we're seeing some very nice recovery. And in fact, there is some institutional involvement in and around these levels for Costco as well. It seems like today we're seeing some nice inflows with the L3 banker oscillator. So some larger orders coming in for Costco. And the technical, yes, so we did get a buy signal on the swing trading indicator for Costco as well. So this is the one to look into from a potential swing trade perspective. Costco is most certainly going to be on the watch list for now. Let's take a look here. So ASML we went over Costco. What do you think about 4-year cycles for Bitcoin ending soon? Will history repeat itself? It might affect the S&P 500. Yeah, I'm not so much of a crypto guy, but I have been investing or trading BITX. As far as the cycles go, it's good. I think it's really good for the entire market because it's really important to have these cycles. Otherwise, things start to go pretty parabolic, exponentially, and as a result, the crashes are even worse. If you're moving in cycles, I think it's more manageable. It gives the opportunity to dollar cost average and of course be a buyer during those times of discounts and distress, and as a result, like I said, we gotta be ready when that happens. Not if that happens, when that happens. TLT leaps. What are your thoughts? So again, any kind of bond play. So when it comes to TLT, it really is going to be on this idea that interest rates are going to go down. As a result, the prices are going to go up. Interest rates only go down when there is real distress in the economy, when there's actual recession fears. And so I've mentioned this before. If you are long bonds, right, you're really betting on the downfall of the U.S. economy on some level, right? You're really betting on a recession. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, like at its core, interest rates are lowered because there is a recession in the U.S. And when interest rates go down, bonds go up, prices go up because they're inversely correlated. And so any kind of long bond trade is a bet on the downfall of the U.S. economy, which is, in other words, a recession or weakness in the labor market. So, and that is a prediction which is very, very difficult to make. So, for me, I would trade it, but I would not go as far as like buying leaps on it, unless, of course, you believe there is a clear signal, there's a recession coming, and rates are going to be dropped down to aggressively low levels. Okay, so SoFi we covered earlier, Benny. So if you want to go back maybe like 10 minutes, we just went over SoFi because we were going over SoFi and then a few other names that we covered earlier, BMNR. So those two stocks we covered, and then let's take a look. I was just browsing and notice it's a bit low. Hello sir, can you please analyze SOMI? Let's take a look at SOMI here. Yeah, I mean this one, another altcoin, I have no idea about this. I would say like a support roughly at 67 cents. So that would be a level to watch. That's just some basic technical analysis. And of course, we're on a very strong descending triangle. So of course, it could break down, hit a new all-time low, or break to the upside. Hard to say. It's an altcoin I have no idea about. All right, so Amazon, APLD skyrocketing, Dan. Yes, pre-market's up over 28% on the back of some very good earnings, again, relatively speaking, because they actually reported a narrower loss. And so as a result, investors are very optimistic here. Fair value on Costco, it is published in the shopping list. I believe Costco is part of it, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll have to double check. It is going to be part of that, but I don't remember that off the top of my head here. But I posted on the channel last week that I felt stuck with an NVIDIA $200 call for December expiration, not feeling so stuck anymore. I mean, we'll see if NVIDIA gets up to 200 next week or not, because I do have a covered call at $205 for NVIDIA. It's going to be right here. So, yeah, so that's the... Where did my call go? For NVIDIA 2... Oh, right here. I just blanked out for a second. Wait, October 2nd? No, October 18th. I was looking at the wrong way. Okay, October 18th. Yes, 8 days till expiration, $205, up about $122 right now on this. So I'm planning on closing it out next week, sometime next week, once it's up like 40 or 50%. Can you give your thoughts on gold? Very optimistic, very bullish on gold. I've been buying it for 2 years, 2.5 years now. We'll continue to add more gold to the portfolio. All right, can you check DPRO? This stock keeps climbing. Let's take a quick look here. And another stock that just keeps on pushing higher. It's got a very, very micro cap here, 71 million. So we're probably going to just skip over it because it's essentially a penny stock because, we're looking at a $71 million market cap. And so, those companies are very open to manipulation, a lot of different kinds of strategies. So I just don't want to dabble into anything that's like less than $500 million. My threshold used to be $1 billion, but I think $500 million is the new threshold that I don't want to dabble into anything that's less than that. So again, just be very, very careful with these names, as they are extremely, extremely volatile. So you already did bull. Sorry, I must have missed it. So V-bull, we covered that yesterday in our market open live stream as well. Talked about some pretty good CSP opportunities here, 11.75, $12. So those right there are going to be support levels to watch for Webull. But of course, a resistance all the way up to as much as $15.75, $16 for Webull as well. So again, we're seeing a little bit of that lower high here with a very strong support at $12, all the way down to as low as $10 for Webull. So those are some things, like those are some CSPs that I may consider around the $11 mark for Webull. Dan says, I sold SoFi yesterday. It seemed like a momentum was already weak. Maybe it wasn't worth it. Yeah, it is coming down a little bit. So I would say a support level roughly around $24 and a resistance up to as much as $30 is where SoFi is currently sitting. Dear, what about Iron? Iron is pushing up another 6% pre-market, getting up to $67, $68. I had a CSP on this, of course, at a $58 strike that I closed out for 80% profit. And then right now, I'm not looking at this stock at all because it's just gone nuts. I mean, weekly time frame, RSI is 93 RSI. Just take a look at this chart. If I were to just show you something, I mean, just take a look at this. I mean, this is insane how much the RSI has gone up. And it's going to keep climbing. At market open today, it's going to be even higher, probably closer to 95, 96. And so this is a stock that I'm extremely careful and cautious with right now. As much as the momentum is a parabolic run-up, I think it's really important to be very careful with this. All right, so Jeremy, hold up. Can we go back and talk about this swing trading indicator? Yes, so we're working on it. I will definitely introduce it. We're going to have a lot of tutorials and a lot of really interesting educational content around it. But it essentially is an indicator that's going to tell you like when to buy, when to sell, I guess. It's going to be a buy and sell. We've kind of put this on with the time frame. And really, it's like a daily, weekly, and monthly columns. And when they turn green is when it actually is absolutely ripe for opportunity. When it turns red, you want to be kind of exiting out of that position, basically. So NVIDIA, for example, the last buy signal was triggered on September 8th. Since then, it's up 15%. And any stock, like bring out any stock, I can go over that in the live stream. And this has been extremely precise with some capital accumulation zones, prime entry zones. And it's essentially a momentum / swing trading indicator that we're building. And once it's done, I'm still testing it. And once it's done, then yes, we are going to get that out there for everyone. So, but I think it's going to be incredible. I think when you kind of combine the MoneyVest index, which is more of a long-term indicator index that helps us understand the risk-reward ratio of the market, combined with the swing trading indicator, and then of course our overall understanding on fundamentals, valuations, volatility, market breadth, I think it really rounds up the whole strategy. We'd be equipped with fundamentals like long-term investing, swing trading, options trading, pretty much everything. So I think it's going to be a big addition. Prentice says, man, everything seems so overbought. Is there any ticker at all worth looking into, or we're just straight up short this market? So yeah, I agree. I think this has been absolutely insane for this market, and everything seems to be just boiling up. It's getting heated and even more overheated. There are maybe a few names that I think we've had on the watch list that might be coming down to some pretty strong support levels. And I was going over a few of them earlier in the Discord sharing charts. Forgot what the tickers were, but yeah, there's not very many stocks that you can actually find right now that are pretty oversold. So that's that. Yeah, it's most definitely should have bought season. We're all working with limited capital, right? We don't have unlimited capital. There's only so much money to go around for all these opportunities. You can't participate in everything, right? You can't just if there's like if this watch list has like, how many symbols does it have? Let me just come over here. let's see, 29 symbols, right? 30. Let's call it 30 stocks, and maybe there's a few that I don't have it over here. Yeah, let's just say 40 to 50 stocks. Like, we can't possibly take advantage on all of those positions, right? We got to pick and choose. We got to be selective. That's what investing and trading really is all about, is being selective and really participating in the ones that you feel most comfortable with. Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate the donation. Again, if you have any question, let me know, and more than happy to help here. Patrick, I bought Nebbia at $17 to $24. Today, $135. Another stock that's been on my radar is SES. The CEO has a very clear vision and is impressive for his age. Might be something to look for, everyone. Let's take a look here. SES. So SES AI Corporation. Wow, another $1 billion market cap from its lows on back in March, from 43 cents. This thing is up 600%. And of course, incredibly overbought at over 84 RSI. And we're coming up to a pretty strong resistance, I'd say, around the 320 mark. So that would be a level to watch, where it's previously gotten rejected. Of course, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? A 478% gain in one single week, and then an absolute dump of 85%. That's why risk management incredibly important for companies that look like this, that are just not generating any revenue and just losses are piling up on top of each other. So market's going to open in about a few minutes here, everyone. We've got QQQs essentially flat. We got S&P 500 flat. Tesla is 17 basis points higher. Nvidia's 33 basis points higher. If you come over to the Magnificent 7 watch list in terms of what's moving up, TLT is higher a little bit. Microsoft, Meta, Google flat. Apple flat. Netflix flat. Amazon slightly down. In terms of sectors, utilities are pushing higher. We got technology, real estate, healthcare, a little bit of that momentum. And crude oil dumping under $60 a barrel for the first time since May 2025. So we're seeing a pretty hefty drop here of almost 3% in crude. Now we're trading at under $60, and that next support or next target really is going to be at $55 per barrel for crude oil. Let's take a quick look at commodities here. Gold sitting at just shy of $4,000. So selling off a little bit here on the daily. And silver did hit a new all-time high. It did hit a fresh, brand new all-time high. Still sitting at well over $50 per ounce here. So incredible. From its July lows, up 40%. So Dell, let's take a quick look at this company. Yeah, so very strong parabolic run up here for 29-30% for Dell as well. On the weekly time frame, I would say that it's also coming up to its resistance. So this right here is going to be that level. And a reasonable support down here, roughly around the $80 to $85 mark for Dell. So that is going to be that resistance level. Of course, we're coming up to that level again. And if you do see any kind of a pullback, 143, 144 is going to be another support level to watch for Dell. Yeah, right there. Of course, incredibly overbought at the moment as well, as is every other stock that we are going over. So as I mentioned in my yesterday's market open live stream, is that every stock is going to be overbought unless, of course, I state otherwise. Oscar, on the other hand, is also coming down after hitting its resistance. Again, it was pretty obvious, pretty clear. We talked about this as like a quadruple top for Oscar here. You know, rallied very nicely, got rejected at $23.50, closer to $24. Right now, we're seeing that momentum back lower, and this is going to be that higher low. So if it does come down to, let's say, 1960s, you know, it might be a good time for me to also start selling some puts on Oscar around the $18 to $19 mark. I want to see what those premiums actually look like for Oscar, because since it is coming down and selling off, it might make sense for me to look into those premiums here. For next Friday, it's not going to load up right now, but as soon as the market's open, we're going to take a look and then see if it's if there's any premium that we can harvest from selling those puts. For long-term investing, should you sell shares or just hold and then buy when the VIX spikes once again, or do you sell some and take profit? So for long-term investing, it is really important to let your positions sit. That's it. Like quite literally it. The less you do, the more money you're going to make. Remember that. It's very, very important in your long-term investing journey is that the less you fiddle around in your portfolio, the more money you're going to make. A lot of the homework, a lot of the research is behind the scenes, right? And it's always going to be the case is that markets, when they're open, they're only open for trading. They're only open for actual execution. It's not open for analysis. It's not open for doing your homework. It's open for execution. So a lot of the homework, a lot of the research is done when the markets are closed. And so as long as you study the companies, you understand, okay, these are the companies that I want to invest in long term. They've got huge potential. You buy them and you just hold them. And, as I think Charlie Munger once said, is the big money is not made in buying or selling. It's made in waiting, right? And I think that's so true with investing long term is that if you just buy and hold, right, the largest compounders have gone up thousands of percentages. So if you were taking profit along the way, your 1,000% is only a couple 100%, or your 5,000% is only 5, 6, 700%. So for long-term investing, I think it's really important. The philosophy is just buy, hold, and the only 3 reasons why anyone would, in my opinion, consider selling is number 1, if their thesis changes, if you're no longer bullish on that stock, if you feel like, okay, their company's not executing anymore, the thesis is no longer valid. Number 2, if you find a better opportunity for the money that's sitting there. So if you feel like, okay, I've got a better opportunity to invest and I need the cash. And the third is that if you do actually need the cash for something else, that's pretty much it. But other than that, I think it's really important to just kind of buy, hold, and just wait and not fiddle around. Yes, Alistair, I think that's a good quote that we should remember. Oscar Health, we just went over. Temple of ORBS, any clue what's going on there? So let's take a look at ORBS. 8Co. Yes, this is also a stock which was incredibly volatile, I remember. Expands AI authentication solutions. So launch of a pilot program for AI authentication in enterprises. Focus on solving identity and verification challenges at scale. So this could be one of the catalysts. Yesterday, releasing investor presentation and a video update, enhancing investor relations, video update providing insights into the business operations. That could be another reason why. Focus on AI revolution and human proof authentication. Goal to reach 800 million world coin tokens for future growth here. So multiple updates of AI. Let's jump 30%. So it's just one of those moments again, right? Every company's got to mention the internet, right, in order for them to go up, in order for them to rip higher and rally. All right, energy stock buys, SMNEY. Let's take a look at that for Jack here, Siemens Energy. So dividend yield for this is non-existent. Market cap about 108 billion, very, very low volume. It just doesn't seem to have any volume at all, only 100,000 shares traded daily. I mean, 5-minute chart's gonna look pretty inconsistent. I mean, this is what it looks like. So you can see like there's a lot of breakage because of the lack of liquidity here. Yeah, I mean, it's overbought right now. Jack, you would consider that support around $100. So if it does end up closer to $100, that could be a good starting point. It's a pretty strong support, but be mindful of the liquidity as well, because it is a thinly traded stock. There's not a lot of volume there. BMNR, we covered it earlier, so we talked about it a little bit before. Great. Then when the VIX spikes, we can buy more and hold. Yes, that's the whole idea, right? Is you want to be net long on your positions, and when the volatility does spike and we see the money invest index come down, that's when you want to deploy more capital, more cash into your long-term positions in high-quality stocks, and then just wait and hold. That's the essence of buy and hold. That's the essence of long-term investing, is like we don't do much, but we rather just make very precise decisions when the time is right, when the risk reward is favorable, and then that's it. Then we just enjoy the run up. So here we go. Market's about to open. We're going to see a flat open here with Nvidia up almost 0.5%. We got Tesla up over 25 basis points with volatility here also very, very muted. Crude oil getting a bit of a dump here under $60 a barrel. And we are still strong on the week here. We're positive for the week. Here we go. Markets are open. We are open for business. And I'll take a look at those Oscar puts as well, because I'm really considering those. If we do see some red today, if Oscar continues to sell off, I will most likely be very interested in selling some puts. I really want to start a wheel strategy on TQQQ as well, but it just doesn't give us any opening because it keeps on pushing higher to new all-time highs. All right, everyone. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you all. Again, link's going to be down below if you're interested in joining and, of course, getting access to all the real-time trade alerts. I share this options portfolio every week with all the members, with all the new plays, everything that we're doing. If you have any questions, just email me at admin@moneyvest.com. And again, as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next live.